Barely out of this one, but we're on to the next. Taking a look at your odds to win Super Bowl 60. A nice round ring to it. And I don't know. A lot of the same. Chiefs, Eagles, Ravens, Bills, Lions, Niners on the business side of this graphic, with the Chiefs and Eagles co-favorites at 6.5 to 1. Do we see it again? Don't tell me you're tired. All right, it's always unfair to do this, but it is part of the job. And when we live in the Chiefs era, I know a loss here, you do start thinking about stacking trophies on top of one another. And we've talked about it throughout the last couple hours since this victory. The Eagles, they're going to be reloaded with a whole lot of talent, maybe some differences, but the core of that group, quarterback, running back, the group up front, the pass rush group, very young, very talented. Could you see a repeat?
I could. I mean, plus 650, I would sprinkle a little something on that. If we're talking about value, we were talking about it on stage. Maybe the Commanders at plus 2,300 or even the Houston Texans at plus 2,700. But you talked about it. Their core players are coming back. The Jalen Hurtses of the world, right? The A.J. Browns, the Devontae Smith, the Saquon Barkleys. But more importantly, the offense and defensive line mostly are coming back. Now, they probably lose Milton Williams, but Douzable behind him played really well tonight. The kid from Texas that they took a few years ago, he's going to step into that third defensive tackle role. They're still going to have Jordan Davis. They're still going to have Jalen Carter, Josh Sweat on the outside, Nolan Smith. They may lose Zach Bond, but let's not forget, Nakobe Dean was playing at a Pro Bowl level, and hopefully he comes back from that knee injury as well. So I could see the Eagles coming back and repeating as Super Bowl champs because their core players are going to be back on this team next year.
It's funny because how we talked about this in the beginning, you know, guys that they drafted the year prior that didn't play as rookies, and this year they play significant roles. Well, next year we may see a bigger role for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. We may see a bigger role for Will Shipley. We may see a bigger role for some of these guys, Wilson out of Florida State, who got in some reps in this ball game. So they're going to always reload, which is why I always call BS on folks that say it takes 4 years or 3 or 4 years to get it done. The Eagles show you if you draft well, and in the NFL, you have the luxury of scraping off the top. You should be contending each and every season.
And there's something to be said about beating the Chiefs. Had they beat anybody else in the NFL, you know, maybe you don't have as much confidence. You have the confidence not only that you're the best team in the world right now, but you're coming back, and there's nobody you're afraid of. I mean, the Chiefs beat everybody you should be afraid of, and at this point, there's nobody left. So, to me, there's a high probability they're back in this game for the NFC. Will they win it? To be determined.
Felt like the big question, though, we all assume Kellen Moore's going to take that job from New Orleans Saints. Let's not forget they've been in this predicament before where they lost the coordinator. They actually lost 2 in 1 year, and they really struggled the next year. Now, started off good, won some games the ugly way, but down the stretch losing 6 or 7. So that'll be the big question mark for this team. Who is going to take over as the offensive coordinator? Because Nick Sirianni, when he had to replace him the first time, didn't do it right. Redid it. Got Kellen Moore in the building, and they won a Super Bowl. Who's going to take his job?
It's a great point, and you bring that person into the room. You say, this is the stuff we like to run. It worked last season. 2,000-yard back, a quarterback that moved the ball down the field when needed. You speak to the draft picks and the home runs that have been hit here in the recent past by the general manager. It's a first, second, third, fourth, and 3/5 for Howie to play with and probably find value all over the place and add more talent to that team. All right, we know how you feel about the Eagles. We've also had a couple sprinkles further down the board, but let's put it on tape just in case. You know, if you're right now, they'll run this back 365 days from now. Lige Douzable, you're way too early winner of Super Bowl 60.
Musa, how did we start this show? To be the man, you have to what?
Beat the man.
Beat the man. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles until they prove me otherwise. Again, I believe this is the most complete team in football. We just told you how most of their core players are coming back. So the culture that's set is going to be there. I think the biggest concern for them, again, is what are they going to do with offensive coordinator? That is the biggest concern. Other than that, they know they can turn it around and hand it off to Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts, if you need him to throw the ball down the field, he can do that. Malata's going to come back. It seems like Lane Johnson has found the fountain of youth. He's most likely not going to retire. And they're young enough in the interior of that offensive line that their core players are coming back. Give me the Eagles to win it next year.
At some point, Baltimore is going to get this thing done, right?
Get out in front of it.
Right. Baltimore will win it this year, this upcoming year, Super Bowl 60. The reason why I like Baltimore, defensively, they started to figure things out toward the back end of the season. They were one of the top defenses. And we talk about the draft and them finding some more playmakers that can get to the quarterback, which is what I think they need. And offensively, just continue to stockpile weapons around Lamar Jackson, who should have won MVP this year. I think Baltimore finally kicks down that door with Lamar at quarterback and get it done. I'm
with Emory. I think Baltimore gets it done. I think that they, saw that the Chiefs can be beaten in the playoffs, so that kind of monster doesn't seem as scary. But you got to remember, Lamar Jackson did not win the MVP this year. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. He's going to be upset. I think he internally knows now that it doesn't matter how good he is. If he doesn't have that championship, I think you're going to see the best Lamar Jackson we've seen yet.
No promises in this game, but I will make you fellas this promise. We'll let you sleep between now and then.
Finally.
From our team here, Super Bowl 59, belonging to the Eagles until further notice. Well, I guess that
we got a graphic.
Always belongs to it. Yeah, we got the way too early graphic.
Hey, we're riding together, Emory. Let's go.
Deuce is going to double down here on the birds, and then it's a different bird. The bad birds for the others. Ryan Harris and Emory Hunt going with the Ravens.